The event's been based on the research that I've been working on for about 20 years, but in particular looking recently at the impact of jazz in Britain as we're now celebrating 100 years of this music being a part of our culture here, and looking at sort of how it came from America and then how British audiences and musicians responded to it.
Well, when I was growing up, I was made to believe that jazz came from New York. I kind of realized that jazz was also from New Orleans, and actually it came from New Orleans first. And then I found out that, well, there was jazz that came from England, and there was jazz that came from France.
Is the sense of you have this New Orleans sound, this incredible music coming across the Atlantic, and that it becomes sanitized and set by elements of the British dance band tradition. There's such a culture of dancing here in England in a way that there really isn't in North America.
My relationship with early British jazz kind of began when I moved here, and obviously there were things like Dancing on the Edge, and there were all kinds of different things that were coming into my sphere that were kind of whetting my appetite for it, but then it really kind of came to my attention when I met Catherine.
I had independently gone to an exhibition at Two Temple Place last year to see this exhibition about British dance bands. And I'd sort of happened upon this exhibition, and it just so happened that when Kat recommended that she needed 2 dancers who were interested in early jazz, that really sort of sprung to mind, and I didn't even know that Catherine was the one behind it. The important thing today about working with someone who is a musicologist and who has that incredible in-depth knowledge of people that were working in the day is that we still have the modern application of that. Katie probably teaches about 7,000 to 8,000 people to dance a year. I teach about 10,000 people to dance a year.
It's really informative for us to get an opportunity to talk to people with so much knowledge and be able to be part of educating the public.
To talk about different elements of the dance and its wider context in Britain and its wider context in history and how we are living sort of through lines of this incredible form and part of how it evolves long term.
We included waltz because Catherine brought to my attention that when the original Dixieland Jazz Band came over to London, they performed some kind of, more novelty numbers and waltzes, which they didn't record in the States. So in that way, that's, added stuff to our repertoire as well and brought, more history to our attention.
I think the most important thing is how it shapes today's music, because the traditional music is so multifaceted. We played a waltz, we played traditional swing, we played spirituals. It's kind of integral to later music with so many different styles. Right now, there's such a cross-filtration from different genres, different styles, and to see them doing that, the Syncopated Orchestra back in the 20s, coming over in 1919, to now be able to take that heritage and cross-filter from other musics and fuse it into a medium that people are entertained by. I think that's integral.
Improvisation is obviously like spontaneous composition, but in this case even more so, kind of more focused on the melodic sense of it all. I found that it sort of just like exposed gaps in my playing.
We'd like to develop what we've done already. Of course, this is just a short, very quick snap of what the orchestra was capable of, and also of what we're capable of. We realised there were lots of stringed instruments. So we'd love to investigate more about what this orchestra actually played, to sound how they sounded in 1919.
So I can only hope that we get to do this a lot, because it seems like we both learn from it, and so did the audiences. And that's kind of what you want from all this anyway, is to, grow our knowledge about this great art form.